The Los Angeles Dodgers are 2024 World Series champions. What is up, my friends? Welcome to Flippin' Bats, straight from the field, straight from off the field to recording a new episode. We're back. We just left the field, saw the celebration there. A lot happened. A lot happened in that game. We're going to talk all about it. But it's pretty simple. Obviously, Dodgers World Series champions, but the New York Yankees had all the momentum in the world until the fifth inning came along. So we're going to talk about that fifth inning. The Rizzo play at first base with Garrett Cole. Have some strong thoughts on that. Aaron Judge out in center field as well, but really all the momentum until that fifth inning, and it was a historic fifth inning as well. Going to talk about the Dodgers and uh, Freddie Freeman MVP, Shohei's first season as a Dodger. But this series may not have gone the longest. Obviously, it ends in 5 games, but what an emotional roller coaster it was. This series was awesome. Game one and game five of the World Series were all-time great games. Game four, really good. Two and three were okay. But I mean, we got 3 out of 5 incredible World Series games against two of the biggest teams in the world. So I really enjoyed this postseason. I enjoyed covering it. And let's talk about it because tonight was one of the best games of this series for sure. Obviously, Yankees get out to that early lead. It's 5-0. You have Garrett Cole on the mound. You feel great about it. And then that fifth inning comes along. And the fifth inning is a microcosm of the entire New York Yankees season. The New York Yankees just aren't a fundamentally sound baseball team. And that cost them tonight. That cost them the World Series. The New York Yankees lost this game tonight, game five, because one Hall of Famer dropped a routine fly ball in center field, and another Hall of Famer didn't get over to cover first base. Massive blown lead. Second Yankees pitcher, Garrett Cole, second Yankees pitcher ever with 5 unearned runs in a single postseason game. All of them came in the fifth inning. Dodgers 5-run comeback is the largest ever in a World Series clinching win. But I do want to talk about that fifth inning because obviously it's the storyline of this game. It was 5-0. Cole was coasting. Then you have those errors. Judge out in center field, Volpe at shortstop. But to me, the game was lost on that ground ball to first base. Mookie Betts, bases loaded, 2 outs, ground ball to first base, Rizzo fields, and they don't get the out. And it was a weird looking play. And I remember sitting in the stands, and everybody around me was kind of confused of what was happening. And I'll explain it to you, and I'll tell you what was wrong. I know a lot of people from what I saw were saying, well, Anthony Rizzo needs to run harder and get to first base. Let me make one thing very clear about that play. There is absolutely no excuse for Garrett Cole to not be covering first base there. If Garrett Cole does what he's supposed to do there, throws the ball, sees it hit to the right side, sprints to first base, this game's over, and this series is heading back to Los Angeles, where the Yankees have to win 2 more games to win the World Series. This is common, basic fundamentals. Is there a world in which Anthony Rizzo could have fielded that ball, immediately took off, sprinted, dove to touch the base, and beat Mookie? Yeah, there is. But that's not the point. It's it's common little league fundamentals, high school fundamentals to get over to first base, cover first base, sprint over, and if you're needed, great. I'm right there. Easy, easy beating Mookie to the bag. You're out. If I'm not needed, also great. Inning over. Let's get out of here. But that didn't happen. Garrett didn't get over. And next thing you know, Freddie's ball, Teoscar's ball, and then that's obviously a great ball game from there. But that was huge. So Garrett Cole there has to get over, and this series continues, and that is the microcosm of this entire series. The Los Angeles Dodgers are a much more fundamentally sound baseball team. That showed itself all year long with the Yankees, with base running mistakes, with base running errors. Defense, tonight it was defense, defense, defense. Their defense was brutal. And that showed itself here. And it is not a surprise to me that the Los Angeles Dodgers season ended on a game in which they were so poor defensively. Brutal. The fifth inning was unlike any. These are professional athletes. Again, uh, Aaron Judge is the MVP. Garrett Cole, reigning Cy Young champ, one of the best pitchers in baseball. But it was most, one of the craziest, worst defensive innings I've ever seen. A routine fly ball to an MVP in center field, a future Hall of Famer, and a routine ground ball to the right side. That if I'm gonna justify, if I can talk for a second about Anthony Rizzo, it was a ball kind of capped a little bit. So it had a little bit of spin on it, and he kind of had to sit back to see what it was going to do and field it, and just assumed Garrett was going to be there. And Garrett wasn't there, and that ended up being the ball game with what Freddie and Teoscar did and tying it up, and then they take the lead, and that was ball game from there. So New York Yankees season comes to an end on one of the least fundamentally sound baseball games you will ever see. And that was the 2024 New York Yankees. Now what? Now what? Soto's a free agent. He's already getting questions about what's going to happen. I was down in the field pregame and was around, right behind home plate, was there talking to Brian Cashman a lot of the time, and was there when he was asked about Juan Soto. And I heard him say, yeah, he was asked if he's signed Juan Soto yet. Signed Soto yet? He said, nah. And then was talking about it and said, yeah, he's free agent. He reached out to his agency and was told, yep, check in the winter if you want to sign him. Like, what happens with Soto here? I don't know. What happens if they do sign Soto long term to a deal? You've got all your money wrapped up in the same guys in the same place. So Yankees have a lot of questions. I'll talk about that in an episode coming up. But let's talk about the World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers. Just the better team, top to bottom, the better offensive team, the better defensive team, a team that runs the bases better. They pitched better in this series. The Dodgers deserve a ton of credit. Dave Roberts deserves a ton of credit. Freddie Freeman, MVP of the World Series on a bum ankle. I mean, what this team did, not even close to 100%. Freddie is not okay right now. He could have missed, he was missing NLCS games, not playing in them. There was a chance I mean, he shouldn't have been playing in the World Series with how bad his ankle was, and he continued to play, and he hit four homers in a row to start this World Series off, six if you go back to the last two, and then a huge hit tonight in this game. Freddie Freeman, man, what a journey, what a story. Congrats to Freddie. Just one of the most likable guys in all of baseball, and I think deserves a ton of credit here for what he's been able to do throughout the postseason, and could not be happier for Freddie Freeman. Also, could not be happier for World Series champion Shohei Ohtani. In his first year with the Los Angeles Dodgers, his first year, first season after signing for $700 million, he goes out and wins the World Series. Something that the Dodgers haven't been able to do with the best regular season team in baseball for the last decade, basically. They do have that one in 2020, but Shohei finally gets his chance with the Dodgers on a good team, wins the World Series. Who knows if they're even in the World Series without Shohei because of that game one homer against the Padres, which desperately needed to happen. What a first season. Shohei Ohtani in his first season with the Los Angeles Dodgers. What did he do? Well, he created the 50-50 club. Just invented it. Wasn't even a thing. He created the 50-50 club. He set a career high in home runs, RBIs, doubles, stolen bases, hits, runs scored. He set the Dodgers single season franchise record for most homers, first ever playoff berth in his career, will be the National League MVP, and he's a world champion. Shohei Ohtani is the greatest baseball player of all time. I mean, he was doing he was playing in this World Series. In game two, he dislocated his shoulder. He was playing with one shoulder. Let me make one thing very clear so everybody can understand that. Because I've seen things out there about Shohei and his statistics in the World Series, and everybody gives Aaron Judge a lot of crap for his stats in the postseason in the World Series. And, well, let's look at Shohei's stats. Are you kidding me? Let me make one thing abundantly clear. Shohei Ohtani was playing with one shoulder, literally wearing a sling up until the second the game started. The fact that he was not even out there is remarkable. And a lot of comment when I said that, I think I tweeted it. A lot of comments were, well, nobody's forcing him to be out there. If you're not feeling great, if you can't play well, then don't play. We're talking about the greatest baseball player of all time. Of course, if there's a world in which he can possibly be in the lineup, he's going to be in it. But that doesn't mean he's 100%. Shohei Ohtani wasn't even close to 100% in the World Series. Some might say he was 50% because he only had one arm to hit with. Still leading off, still a force in that lineup, and just a remarkable, remarkable first season with the Dodgers. Dave Roberts said this after the game in regards to his shoulder. He said he earned even more respect from his teammates by playing with one arm. That's what Dave Roberts said about Shohei Ohtani and his situation. So, I mean, that goes to show it was clearly a big deal. If you were watching his at bats, if you were seeing the way he was at the plate, the way he was swinging, the way he was running the bases, holding his shirt, he shouldn't have been out there. The injury was bad enough that there's not a problem in the world if he was like, yeah, I can't go. But that's not in his nature. He was always going to play. He was always going to give it a shot. And what a performance, what a gutsy performance. And now Shohei Ohtani, the greatest baseball player of all time, is a World Series champion. They asked after the game, he was at the Fox desk and he said, I'm ready to get back to more celebrating. And then he said, I've never had a cigar yet. So I think we're going to get Shohei Ohtani tonight having his first ever cigar in celebration. But I just felt from beginning to end, this series had a lot of drama. Didn't talk about it because we had an episode come out right before the game, but yesterday in game 4 with the ball down the right field line and the Mookie Betts situation and him jumping into the stands, just an absolute ridiculous situation there for the fans to get a part of. Obviously, that's been talked about ad nauseum, so we don't need to do that. But a ridiculous, ridiculous thing from the fans there. Just a joke. So awful. I mean, one, the first guy that reaches into his glove and starts forcing out, that's one thing. That's already bad enough. Then the other guy grabbing his wrist, just a lot of drama in this series. You had superstars battling through injuries. You had Aaron Judge not hitting. The Yankees, with the way their team is set, are not capable of winning if Aaron Judge isn't hitting. And that goes for even if Juan Soto's hitting, even if Giancarlo Stanton is hitting. They're not a deep enough lineup. They're not capable of winning a World Series if Aaron Judge isn't hitting. And he did hit in game 5. It unfortunately was just too late after getting down 3-0 in a series. But he worked through it. He was back in game 5. And if they found a way to win in a game 5, who knows what happens when this gets back to LA? That to me is the storyline of all of this, top to bottom. Manager, Aaron Boone got outmanaged in this series by Dave Roberts. But top to bottom, the Los Angeles Dodgers are just a better team. They're more fundamentally sound. They run the bases. They do the little things better, but obviously they have the superstars in their lineup, but they're deeper in the lineup, and that shows itself every single game. I mean, the end of game 5 came down to the bottom of the Yankees lineup, and you just knew that they weren't going to be able to get it done. And that's not the same on the Dodgers side. The bottom of the lineup for the Dodgers is a lot better than the bottom of the lineup for the New York Yankees. That showed itself. Dodgers end up being World Series champions. Let's talk about that for 2025. Dodgers are coming off of a World Series, and there's not a world in which they're not going to get better. That to me is a big look. The Yankees, I think the Yankees have here and now issues. The Yankees beat the Kansas City Royals and the Cleveland Guardians to get to the World Series. I know we're going to say they're AL champions, but let's not go and act like they weren't by far the worst team on paper, on the field in this World Series. They were. They got outplayed in every facet of the game. And you're lying to yourself if you don't think they had an easy path to the World Series. Beating the Royal, there's no such thing as an easy, like it being handed to you. Obviously, they beat two good baseball teams, but this is one of the easier routes to the World Series in terms of the team you're going up against that I think a team has had in a long time. The Royals and the Guardians, the AL Central, a division that's not wasn't expected to be any good. And this is no discredit to either of those teams. But the Dodgers went up against the Padres and the hottest team in baseball, the New York Mets. The Padres on paper were just as good, if not better, than the Dodgers. The Mets, the hottest team in baseball with all the vibes in the world going for them. The Yankees again, the Royals and the Guardians. So now where do you turn? I know we're sitting here with them as AL champions, but I'm not going to treat this team like that. I'm going to treat this Yankees team as a team that has big issues. They have their ace of the staff. They have their MVP, their center, their guy in the lineup, right? They have their superstars. But even if you sign Juan Soto, you have issues. And that got exposed in the World Series. And if they go out and spend $600 million on Juan Soto, I don't turn around and say, you know what? Now the New York Yankees should be World Series favorites. It's going to be the same exact team, a team that didn't work. On the other side of things with the Dodgers in 2025, you're only going to get better. You have all of the injuries of guys that weren't able to play in the postseason. One, Tyler Glasnow. And then on the pitching side of things with, obviously, Tyler Glasnow's a pitcher as well, but Emmett Sheehan and all the injuries they were dealing with on that side. And then to top it all off, Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani is going to be pitching in 2025, and he's one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. This was the year to beat the Dodgers. I'm not saying they're going to win 5 World Series in a row. I'm not even saying they're going to win 2 in a row. But this was the year that they weren't supposed to win it. This was the year that Shohei wasn't pitching. That's why we paid him $700 million to do both. Shohei wasn't pitching. We dealt with injury after injury after injury. This was not supposed to be the year that the Los Angeles Dodgers won the World Series, but they did. And they're only going to get better next year and the year after that, and every year that Shohei is a two-way player. So, man, kudos. The Los Angeles Dodgers are what the New York Yankees used to be. They went out and got the players they wanted. They went out and spent on the players they needed. They did it. Now they're starting this run, what I believe is a run of winning World Series championships. I'm not saying it'll be every year, but in the next decade, including this year, in the next decade, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Los Angeles walk away with 3 or 4 World Series championships. This team is only going to get better, and tonight was just the beginning of that. The Los Angeles Dodgers are 2024 World Series champions. Shohei Ohtani is the greatest baseball player to ever live. Freddie Freeman, an absolute freak of nature, playing on a bum ankle, winning winning World Series MVP. Man, Dodgers deserve a lot of credit. Dave Roberts deserves a lot of credit. What a year. What a season. If you were listening to this, it's the offseason. And that feels wild to say. But it is. Dodgers champions. Offseason starts now. A lot to figure out in the offseason. But the biggest of them all is, where is Justin Verlander going to go? No, just kidding. Juan Soto. How much does he get paid? $500 million? $1 billion? Where's he going to go? Is Steve Cohen going to open up the pockets? I don't know. I don't know where he's going, but we'll be talking about it every single step of the way. Still got a lot coming over the next few days. Want to do a full debrief on the World Series and everything. It was really cool being down there on the field and talking to players. And I just had another incredible journey. And that is my goal with this show and every single thing I do is to make everyone that watches or listens or follows along feel a little bit like they were a part of it by being down, hearing conversations that happen down in the field. That's the goal. And that's what I love about this community. And just thank everyone for this entire season, for listening, for watching, for everything with this show. It means the absolute world. Los Angeles Dodgers, 2024 World Series champions. The parade is November 1st, Friday, November 1st, back in LA. The World Series parade. That's going to be absolute chaos. But thank you all for listening. As always, we'll be back soon. Going to talk to Smoltz here shortly and get an episode out with him and his thoughts. But a lot coming here in the next few days. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything. Wherever you listen to your podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever. On YouTube, you can watch every single thing we do at Flippin' Bats Pod YouTube channel. Leave a comment, like it, make sure you're subscribed. That all really helps, and I love hopping in the comments and talking to you guys. And follow along on all social media at Flippin' Bats Pod everywhere. But love you guys. What a season. A lot more to come. But congratulations to the 2024 Los Angeles Dodgers. That whole team. Shohei Ohtani, world champ, greatest of all time. Flippin' Bats, that's it. For the last time of the season, remember, my friends, find your bat and flip it. Peace.